Okay, so the UFO phenomenon is no longer a fringe topic. It has officially gone mainstream, moving from the shadows right into the halls of Congress. But what if the number one theory, that these are visitors from other planets, is completely wrong? Today, we're diving into a fascinating alternative, one that suggests the answer isn't out there in the stars, but has been right here with us all along. So, here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll look at how the UFO topic became something everyone has to take seriously. Then, we'll explore an ancient tradition to uncover a pretty startlingly different explanation. We'll put the two phenomena side by side, comparing everything from what they look like to how they behave. And then we'll get to the biggest question of all. If this isn't about aliens, what is the ultimate goal? All right, so how in the world did we get here? For decades, talking about UFOs was a one-way ticket to getting labeled a crackpot. But just in the last few years, that dam of secrecy and ridicule has completely burst open. I mean, just look at this timeline. It is wild. In 2017, the New York Times drops a bombshell about a secret Pentagon program. Fast forward to 2023, and you've got a high-level intelligence officer, David Grush, testifying under oath before the United States Congress. And now, in 2024, you have academics from Harvard, yes, Harvard, publishing papers seriously discussing the idea of cryptoterrestrials living right here among us. The speed of this shift is it's staggering. And we have to be clear, these are not anonymous people on the internet. We're talking about decorated combat pilots, career intelligence officials, people putting their security clearances, their reputations, their entire careers on the line to testify under oath. That credibility is what's forcing everyone to finally take this seriously. So, okay, if we accept the phenomenon is real, the next obvious question is, what is it? The go-to answer for pretty much everyone is extraterrestrials. But this is where our source material takes a hard turn, proposing an explanation that isn't from some distant galaxy, but from a reality that may have been here the whole time. And this question right here, this is the absolute heart of the hypothesis we're exploring. It asks us to challenge that default assumption, to question whether unidentified automatically means from another planet. The alternative that's being put forward is the concept of the Jinn. Now, in the Islamic framework, Jinn are a third category of intelligent life. They're not angels and they're not human. They are something else entirely. This table breaks it down really simply. You've got angels, made from light, who are pure servants of God. You've got us, humans, made from clay, given free will. And then you have this third group, the Jinn, made from what's called a smokeless fire. And, this is the crucial part, they also have free will, just like us. And that free will is key because it means they can be good, they can be evil, or anything in between. Now, this is a really important point. This is not a Jinn of the gaps argument. It's not just plugging Jinn into a mystery because we don't have another answer. In fact, Islamic theology is totally open to the idea of extraterrestrial life. No, this hypothesis is being proposed for one reason, because the actual evidence we see in the UFO phenomenon lines up in some really startling ways with what has been said about the Jinn for centuries. Okay, so now we get to the really juicy stuff. We're going to put these two phenomena side by side and look at the characteristics, what they look like, and more importantly, how they act. So first up, what do they look like? Well, UFO reports describe this huge range of things, right? Orbs of light, silent metallic craft, the classic gray aliens. On the other side, traditional descriptions of the Jinn say they can appear in a vast array of forms. They can fly, they can look like strange creatures, they can take on human form or animal form. The core ability is identical. They are shapeshifters. And it's not just their appearance. For decades, one of the most respected UFO researchers out there, Jacques Vallee, has argued that the phenomenon seems intentionally deceptive. It lies to people. It plays psychological games. It does things that are just plain absurd, which doesn't really fit the profile of a straightforward scientific visit from another planet, does it? And this is where the hypothesis draws a razor-sharp line, connecting that deceptive nature directly to the Quran's description of Shaitan, or Satan, the leader of the rebellious Jinn. His primary tactic? Misleading humanity through delusion and deception. The argument here is that the core behavior is a perfect match. And the parallels don't stop there. They get a lot more personal and, frankly, a lot more disturbing, especially when we look at the ideas of abduction and paranormal attachments. The whole alien abduction story feels so modern, right? It's a staple of science fiction. But what's fascinating is that the idea of humans being taken away by non-human entities is, it's ancient.
While Harvard psychiatrist John Mack concluded that his patients' abduction stories were describing a real experience, this framework points to historical accounts in Islamic tradition of people being taken by jinn, sometimes for years. But this might be one of the most mind-blowing parallels of all. Modern UFO investigators have this term, the Hitchhiker Effect. It's where an entity from a paranormal hotspot like Skinwalker Ranch literally attaches itself to a researcher, follows them home, and causes all sorts of psychological and physical chaos for them and their family. This modern-day observation is an almost perfect one-to-one description of what classical Islamic texts have called jinn attachment or possession for over 1,000 years.
So if we follow this line of thinking, if these parallels hold up, it begs the biggest question of all. Why? What's the motive here? What is the end game? Well, according to this argument, it's a grand deception, one that's perfectly designed for our modern secular age.
The source lays out this 4-step strategy, and you can see how it's perfectly tailored for right now. Step 1, the disguise. Don't appear as an ancient spirit. Appear as a highly advanced extraterrestrial. Step 2, the target. Aim for our modern mindset that trusts science and technology way more than it trusts faith. Step 3, the bait. Offer us what we want: technological salvation, secret knowledge, a purpose beyond our boring lives. And step 4, the ultimate goal. Create a brand new tech-based belief system, a new religion really, that slowly but surely turns humanity away from the traditional worship of God.
Okay, but what about the hard evidence, right? The nuts and bolts. What about the crashed craft David Grush talks about, or the non-human biologics? The hypothesis actually has answers for this, pointing to traditions that describe jinn not just as spirits, but as builders and master craftsmen. And, get this, that they can actually be injured or killed when they take on a solid physical form.
In the end, the whole argument comes down to a kind of cosmic duck test. If it looks and acts like a shapeshifter, if its primary behavior is deception, and if it has a clear motive to mislead humanity, all things described in ancient texts about the jinn, then maybe, just maybe, that's exactly what it is. The number of direct parallels is, according to this hypothesis, just too striking to be a coincidence. And so that's the final question we're left with. It completely reframes the entire UFO mystery, suggesting that maybe, instead of looking up to the stars for answers, we should be looking at a phenomenon that, according to this tradition, has been interacting with and deceiving humanity from the very beginning.